Hey everyone! Okay, so uh, everybody just howled outside. So it was 8 o'clock, and it's time to read Why Cowboys Sleep with Their Boots On. Now, I picked this up in the desert over in Moab when we were on a family trip, and I went through my favorite children's bookstore, and this was my favorite story that I found in there. So this is some good storytelling. Slim Jim Watkins was one tired cowboy. Sliding out of his saddle, Slim Jim Watkins popped the dirt from his breeches. His breeches are his pants. Seemed like he'd lassoed and branded more than 1,000 longhorn. All of this didn't mind him much. He just wanted to go to bed. There's a longhorn right there. See the longhorn? I'll tell why he's called that, huh? So Slim Jim Watkins stripped off his clothes, all but his long johns, and crawled into his bedroll. No sooner did he lay his head on his cowboy hat than Slim Jim Watkins was sound asleep. Now you have to figure out what happens on this next page just by looking at the picture. So can you see his pants? You see that a rattler crawled into his pants? Rise and shine, bellowed the chuck wagon cook. Slim Jim Watkins stretched, groaned, and reached for his breeches. My breeches! They're gone! Slim Jim Watkins searched and searched, but he couldn't find his breeches. Well, this is enough to sour a man's outlook for the day. There he is, trying to figure out what would you do if you woke up and you couldn't find any pants? That would be enough to sour your outlook, wouldn't it? Grumbling, Slim Jim Watkins slipped his chaps over his long johns and went to work. Darn, griped Slim Jim Watkins. These long johns are wearing thin. I need my breeches. So after a long day's work, Slim Jim Watkins went to town to buy new denim breeches. There he is, trying on his new breeches. That's what cowboys say for pants. It was dark when Slim Jim Watkins rode back to camp. He was a mighty tired cowboy. His bedroll was a welcome sight. Slim Jim Watkins stripped off all his duds, all but his long johns and his new breeches. Then he collapsed into his bedroll. That's like where he sleeps, kind of like when you go camping. Your bedroll would be the same as your sleeping bag, I guess. No sooner did he lay his head on his hat than he was sound asleep. Looks like there's somebody sneaking on him, doesn't it? Oh, you gotta look and see what happens here. What happens? I think somebody's gonna steal something. Rise and shine, roared the chuck wagon cook. Slim Jim Watkins stretched, yawned, and reached for his bandana. My bandana! It's gone! Slim Jim Watkins searched and searched, but could not find his bandana. Finally, he went to work. My dad always, whenever we went backpacking, he always had a bandana with us because you could use it to wash with, you could use it to take a bath, a little bath in the river. So bandanas are pretty important when you're out camping, huh? Darn, growled Slim Jim Watkins. He coughed and choked from the dirt riled up by the cattle. I need my bandana. That night, Slim Jim Watkins traded a week's worth of dishwashing for the cook's bandana. After doing dishes, Slim Jim Watkins was one tired cowboy. He stumbled to his bedroll and stripped off his duds. That's like his clothes. All but his worn long johns, new breeches, and new bandana. That night he was so tired he forgot to lay his head on his hat. Oh, look who's creeping. Can you see who's getting in there right there? Look at that guy. You know what that is? That's an armadillo. Oh, What's he doing, that silly armadillo? There he is, getting right in there. Walking off with his hat. Soon after, the chuck wagon cook clanged his pots together and yelled, "Rise and shine!" Slim Jim Watkins stretched and, "My hat! Where's my hat?" Slim Jim Watkins jumped to his feet. Frantically, he searched. "Losing my breeches and bandana is one thing, but to lose my hat is something else again." Uh-oh, he looks pretty distraught, doesn't he? Upset. What's he going to do without his hat, riding out in the sun all day? "Get to work," boomed the trail boss. So Slim Jim Watkins went to work without his hat. "Darn!" beefed Slim Jim Watkins when the blistering sun burnt his face. "I need my hat." So Slim Jim Watkins rode into town to buy a hat. There he is. Had to go pick out a whole new hat because of that naughty armadillo. The smoke of the campfire rolled skyward to the stars as Slim Jim Watkins rode his weary horse into camp. Slim Jim Watkins was a tired cowboy. "Oh, is my bedroll gonna feel soft as a cow's underside tonight?" Sitting beside his bedroll, Slim Jim Watkins started to pull off his boots. Do you think he should pull off his boots? Look at all those eyes waiting in the darkness. He'd be in real trouble if he lost his boots, wouldn't he? On second thought, he said, "I'm going to sleep just the way I am." And he did. Boots and all. There he is. Everybody's creeping on him, trying to get his clothes in the middle of the night. Oh, look at who just creeped in here. Look who I got right here to say goodnight. This is Miss Bug. Hello. All right, thanks for listening.